I think therapy. Okay, there are two things that I think are important about therapy. One, I think that even if you have what you feel like is a handle on an issue or some problems or something like that, I do think that talking it out sometimes, like sometimes I will really think I know how I feel about something, and then when I talk to anybody about it, having to say out loud the thing that I've been thinking in my head is a different barrier to break than people recognize sometimes.
It's sharing versus being alone with something.
Exactly, exactly. And so it's like I think that while therapy doesn't replace these things, I do think we're in this sort of era of isolation. We're living in like an epidemic of loneliness, and so I think therapy sometimes is just the first step in like it's not necessarily quite the same as community building because I understand it's like
It's
you
pretty
go in
close.
there, you pay a therapist, this person's being paid to listen to you, so it takes a little bit of the softness and the sweetness out of sharing sometimes, I guess, because there's a little bit of money involved. But at the same time, I think that even people who have community, who have whatever their religious leader is, or who do have people to talk to, sometimes you have your people to talk to about certain things. And not that you should be putting everyone in buckets, but like here's someone who is not, it's literally their professional job to not judge you or to not bring any preconceived notions about you when you share something. And so I think that therapy is important for those two reasons. One, a lot of people don't have someone to talk to. Even if you have someone to talk to, sometimes they're not the person you want to share that thing with because you're worried about them looking at you differently, or no matter how much they say, they won't judge. There's something about what you have to say that carries a certain weight that can't be taken back. So I think it's good for those two main reasons, but I'm also like, I don't know how to put this without sounding like I'm anti-therapy now, but I do think that therapy is only, to me, worth it with the effective practice of what you do outside of it. And so I think that, I've known people who have been in therapy for years and they're still like kind of jerks. And it is not as if it is a chemical imbalance thing or a prescription thing, or it's like, no, you go to therapy and then you tell your therapist how you were terrible to everybody and then you don't change the behavior. Feels like therapy's not really working for you. It almost feels like you're not going at this point if you're just going to go and.
Well, if you're just going to rummage around in your bin of narcissism and self-involvement, as opposed to going there to get the tools open-mindedly to see yourself clearly, to have tools so that you can go to work on yourself, on the things. I liken it to just, why wouldn't, if someone has some expertise, someone you trust has some expertise in me, they can feed my narcissism and help me be a better me, get me closer to the things that I want to be. Like that's, and make me more gentle with myself and all the things that you need to learn because you don't quite know everything about yourself that you think you do.
And it's also like, I'm not saying it as if it's some sort of catch-all. For me, I looked at it as like, I do think it could and does at times help me become even better at what I do, because like you said, with tools, right? Give you either give you the tools or show you the tools. I think the same way that a drill will never be a hammer, like not really. You can use a drill as a hammer if you want, and you can make a hammer a drill if you want. It's not going to be that effective. But if you go somewhere and they're like, this is actually a hammer, you should use this to hammer things, now you and the tool are more effective. And that's kind of how I look at it.